when I retired, when I was in charge of the Vice Squad, one of the functions I had was to be on a planning committee for a program to do something about prostitution in Cincinnati. And the program's called Off the Streets. And it's a program that gets women and gets them out of street life and rehabilitated. 100% of them women, 100%, no exceptions, are drug addicted. Okay? And I saw the most, when I'm at Vice one day, I get this letter. I actually got several letters because people in this one area of town went on a writing campaign about this one woman. And so I get these letters about this woman, Veronica, which is her street name. And they describe Veronica so-and-so. She has AIDS. She's out there prostituting herself in abandoned buildings, and she's spreading AIDS, and why can't you guys do anything about it? And we knew her. We had her picture up on the wall. We had a picture of most of the prostitutes in Cincinnati, ones we knew had AIDS. We had their pictures on the wall, so guys knew to be careful. So I'm in the Off the Streets program. We eventually arrest her, and I don't think anything more about it. But after I retire, I'm working down at Off the Streets, and I meet her. And she's the most personable, articulate, one of the brightest women I've ever met. And she's in college and taking courses. And to me, if she could do it, based on her history, anybody can do it. And treatment works. And what we need to do is take that 10% of people that are currently getting treatment, let's quadruple that, like they did in Portugal. And what happens to the illegal market on the Mexican border? What happens to the illegal market in the streets of Cincinnati? There's nothing left for these guys. We can do that. We can wither away the funds that go to that. Okay? Everybody convinced? Are you on my side? All right, let's talk about a couple things here. This violence. I had an interesting discussion with some of my old colleagues the other day, and we're talking about drug legalization. And one of them says, if drugs are legalized, what are these guys going to do? You think these guys are just going to give up and start community college and get and stop committing crime? And what about the international drug cartels? What's going to happen? Do you think they're just going to give up? I don't, but I think it would change things dramatically for them. Some of these committed cartels are going to move into other activities, as they already done in California, and I need to make a note of that so we can talk about that. What other kind of things are they going to move into? Here's the biggies: identity theft, human trafficking. So drugs is not the only illegal business out there. It is, however, the most lucrative. So we can choke off the money for that. Are they going to float away like dust and we'll never have any problems? No, I've never been that naive, and I know you guys aren't either. How about at the local level? We've got, if I went down to downtown Cincinnati today, I could find 100 people that are out on the street dealing drugs. We take that market away from them, what's going to happen to them? My belief is with some other things that we're not going to make transformation overnight, but in the long run, we can have a big impact because, and this is another thing I want to get in, we're going to have some money to do something about this, okay? Where do you think, I'm talking about money for treatment programs and money for other programs, where would you imagine that I think that's going to come from? We're going to tax the living shit out of marijuana, okay? Marijuana as a farm crop is bigger than peanuts in Georgia, bigger than cotton in Mississippi, bigger than tobacco in South Carolina. So let's just imagine that whole black market now in the legitimate market, paying taxes, providing employment, legitimate employment. Now we go to the wholesale, retail. Somebody's got to package all this. So there's a tremendous amount of money available. So that's new dollars that are coming in. Are we spending money now on the war on drugs that's just totally wasted? Almost all. I can't, what part isn't wasted? If I arrest this guy, I write this guy a marijuana ticket in Cincinnati. I'm sorry to pick on you, someone. I write very simple. I write this guy a ticket for smoking a joint on the street. That's a time-consuming thing. That takes me away from other things. In Portugal, when they decriminalized all this personal possession, their number of arrests of major traffickers increased dramatically because police now diverting their attention to something else. So that's a big possibility. The situation we have now with marijuana is very similar to what occurred at the end of alcohol prohibition. We're in the midst of the Great Depression. Governments at all levels were starving for money, and some bright folks said, hey, let's legalize alcohol and get some income. We can do that now. And there's a tremendous amount of money to be made doing that, and there's some folks that are already lined up to take advantage of this. Let's go back to California and talk about how that could go. California is the first state that implemented medical marijuana in 1996. And as I said before, the initial motivation was we're going to use it to treat cancer patients. Why did that come up? Marijuana as a treatment for cancer patients. Yeah, to fight nausea, because chemotherapy is awful. I just had a friend go through it, and marijuana provides some relief for that. So, we had all these folks we're going to treat cancer patients, Parkinson's, this long list of serious diseases. So they're set up and good to go. They set up these clinics. A bunch of docs begin certifying, registering patients for medical marijuana. Think about what happened. What happened is that the numbers dramatically escalated. There weren't that many people with cancer in the whole world that's suddenly getting medical marijuana in California. Okay, so the prescriptions for it begin to be written for lots of conditions, including anxiety, sleeplessness, lethargy, athlete's foot, jock rash. So now what's happened is, and a big concern about drugs, the illegal drugs, is if I go out here in Athens or anywhere in this country and buy illegal drugs, do I really know what I'm getting? No, I may as well reach under my kitchen sink and pull something out and take a big swig. Yeah, that's the kind of roulette that you're playing. Could be anything in there. The medical marijuana kind of doesn't, we lose the kind of, who does quality control for crack cocaine? Who sets the hours of operation? Who decides what the markup is? Who decides what the dealers are deciding all that stuff. If we legalize marijuana, we now have the government come in and do all that stuff, okay? So money available. The neat thing about what happened in California was, with all the problems they have, and medical marijuana, there's now all these outlets for it, and you can buy medical marijuana in a tincture, in a drink, smokable forms, almost any kind of form you can think of. They've got all these brand names. There's in fact one outlet called The Pharmacy, Pharmacy, that employs a full-time pastry chef to come up with concoctions to put marijuana in. So, what we're seeing is a totally uncontrolled gray market in marijuana. The good news about that is that the evidence for marijuana is this is killing dealers. There's some studies out there say that the medical marijuana market has done more to hurt illegal traffickers than all the law enforcement efforts that preceded it. So it shows the potential.